Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here with another video for my mini album, and I just showed you the collection I'm going to be using for the month of July. I did go through my stamps and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try and stamp a little bit in this month. Every time I start a new month, either I try to grab a new collection, try to grab some stamps or some stickers. I do have 3 sticker books that I'm kind of pulling the stickers from there. They're the My Mind's Eye, no, Me and My Big Idea, and I got those at Michael's, and they just have a ton of stickers. They're usually for, most people use them in their planners, but I love using them, on scrapbooking or in this case in my little mini album. So one of the stamp sets that I got has to do with books, and it has sort of a little blocky thing, and then it has a little book at the top. And actually that little book, I actually considered cutting that out and then just using the little book so that I could put the page number in that one, just because this one didn't have any lines in it, so my numbers would pop out a little bit better. But I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't cut into the stamp. And then when I used it here as a little label, I was glad I didn't. And then I had another stamp set that said books to read. And then I just used some of my little alphas and I put July. I wrote down all the books that I wanted to read that month. And then I just stamped a little square, and then I added a few embellishments. And another one of my stamps is some little books, so I stamped that at the corner. Okay, so one of the first things I did is again make sure I had enough of those open books stamped and my numbers rubbed on to the little book. Or if I didn't have the numbers, I have a little circle stamp with numbers, and I just did the numbers that way. So July, the first book, was 63. And I think I read 12 books in July. We'll see how many I read. But I think it's either 11 or 12 books. So the first thing I do is I go on Goodreads. I click on the book, and then if you click on it again, it becomes a big picture on your phone, and then I take a picture of it on my phone, and then I go on my pick frame app and I print 2 pictures on one 4x6, and the ratio is 4:3 on pick frame. And then I just print them all at once, cut them apart. Then I also go on Goodreads to find out the order of what I finished the books, and then I put them in that order. Once I have all that done, I do all that off camera. Then I choose some Project Life cards. I match them up with the pictures. I always choose 2 cards for each photo. And I know some of the page protectors that I chosen, they're 4x6, but what I do is I just take a little strip of white cardstock, like just scrap, and I just put it in the back of the 2 3x4 cards, and I connect them together so that they don't go flying in my little pocket, my 4x6 pocket. Then when I've chosen all the colors, then I just glue down the pictures right away to the card that I wanted it to be the background. And then I put down the little books on each of the pictures. And I found that if you go look at the first few videos, I was doing 1 card at a time, and I think I was just kind of enjoying the process. And then after a while, it's like, okay, I need to make this a little bit more efficient. So by doing it in bulk, everything all at once, it saves quite a bit of time. So this is the little piece of cardstock that I said that I use. So once I'm done with embellishing and everything, I just glue it onto that, and then it makes it so it's like a 4x6, and it slips into my page protector really nicely. Another thing that I do to each and every card is I put the star rating. So at one point you'll see me get my stamp that has 5 little stars, and I just color in the number of stars. Now, one thing that has changed since I'm getting more and more into it is I don't find that, you know, my embellishment is as elaborate as it was at the beginning. Like at the beginning, I was trying to do like all kinds of layering. Now, if I add a little flower to a corner and add, my star rating and the journaling, it's great. Like even when I look through the album, it's just cute. It's got a little decoration, and I'm not wasting a whole bunch of time. Not wasting, but spending too much time on a project that, I love it. I'm having so much fun doing it, but I want to make sure that I have time to do other stuff. And this is going to be fun to flip through just the 3x4 cards. There's always some things on the 3x4 card. So between that little bit of embellishment, I'm liking how the cards are turning out. So now let's talk about the first book. It was called How to Love by Katie Cotugno, and is a young adult contemporary, and it's about a girl who has a big crush on her father's business partner's son. They kind of grew up together, and she totally feels like he's out of her league, and she's always kind of hid her crush from him. They do become a thing. They start to date, and then all of a sudden he just takes off. He leaves, and she's pregnant, but he doesn't know. And 2 years later, he returns, and it's just the story of them kind of, seeing if they can reconnect, and the whole time it's then and now. And I really love this book. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. The next book I did is called Everything We Give by Carrie Lonsdale. And this is actually the 3rd book in the trilogy. And that was the end of it. And the first book, so I'll just talk about the first book because it'll be too spoilery. The first book is about a girl that, on her wedding day, instead of going to her wedding, she actually goes to the funeral of her fiance, because they never ended up getting married. And then someone at her wedding comes up to her and said, it's not what it seems. And then it becomes a whole mystery about her fiance. And then there's 3 books that follows a different character from that first story. Really loved it. I read those books. The first book, I read it, when I found out about it. And then the second one, I read it on release day. And the third one, I read it on release day. Really loved it, gave it 4 star. The next one is called A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. This is a children's classic about these kids that go on an adventure to save their dad. It was cute. I did get the movie. I plan on watching the movie. Mason watched the movie, absolutely loved it. I gave it 3 star. It was a good middle grade contemporary. The next book is Air of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 3rd book in the series. It's a 7-book series, plus it has a novella. And so I don't think I've ever said what Throne of Glass was. So Throne of Glass is about this assassin called Selena Sardothien, and she is in prison, and the king offers her to get out of prison or jail if she needs to compete to become the king's assassin. And then the story develops from there. Absolutely love this series. This was a 3rd book, gave it a 4 star. Enjoying the series. I love the characters. The next book is called The Young Elites by Marie Lu, and that is about kids who, there's a fever that was, going around a few years back, and some of the kids that got the fever, all of a sudden they got powers, and they're called Malfettos. And instead of becoming like superheroes, they're actually like the society doesn't want them. And, they're imprisoned, they're killed. And it's about one of our main characters that got the fever, and all about her story, and really enjoyed it. 4 stars. I love fantasy books like that. And then the next one is called Listen to Your Heart by Casey West. And that's a cute contemporary story. I love Casey West. I love all her story. And this is about them in school, and they are, the main character gets chosen to do a podcast, and a guy that comes in and or calls in for advice, she thinks she recognizes the voice, and it's a boy that she kind of likes, but it sounds like he likes her friend. So it's all about that, and it's super cute. 4 stars. Read a lot of good books again this month. The next book that you're going to see is All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover. And that's an adult contemporary about a couple who's struggling with infertility. And again, it's a then and now kind of story. Absolutely love this book. I think I read it in less than 24 hours. I gave it 5 stars. Now, the next book after that, which you kind of see off on the top of the screen, is called The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. And this is also an adult contemporary, and it's about a girl who has autism, and she hires this guy who's a male escort to teach her to be better at relationship. It was funny. It was cute. I so loved it. And again, I think I read this in a couple of days. It was super. I loved it. Anything that she's going to write, I think I'm going to be getting, because I absolutely adored it. So another 5 stars. Having a great month. I was absolutely loving all the books. Now, the next one is a young adult. It's called The Only Thing Worse Than Me Is You by Lily Anderson. And this is a young adult contemporary about 2 groups of friends. And there's one person on either side of the group of friends that can't stand each other, and they're always fighting. And then something happens, and it's just super cute, and I loved it. It was 5 stars again. Enjoy this story. Now, the next book is called Tiger Lily by Jodi Lynn Anderson, and this is a retelling of Peter Pan. I enjoyed the story. I found it not hard to get into. It was just okay. I liked it. I'd say about a 3.5 maybe. It's not a book that I couldn't put down. Like I wanted to finish it, but it wasn't like the 3 previous books where I just felt like I couldn't put it down. I absolutely loved it. So that's the last book. But while I'm finishing, I just want to mention that starting in a few days, I'm going to be starting my new class, which is Scrapathon 2. If you are in any kind of a slump, scrapbooking, this is such the perfect class for that. You're going to get 30 layouts done in a month. There's a platform where we're going to be chatting every day. Some people have already, they're already on there and they're already chatting up a storm. It's so much fun. So come in and join us. I'll have a link in the description box below to my classes. Till September 15th, it's on for $25. And even if you're a little late to the game, it's not too late. It's also a self-paced class, but it's just fun to be able to chat every day about our progress and to motivate each other to get a ton of layouts done in such a short period of time. Now, I have a question for you guys. Would you like me to keep making these mini albums for the rest of the year, like to show you the pages of the mini album for August, September of all the books that I've read? If so, leave me a comment down below. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. If you're enjoying these videos, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.